Chihuahua. Yeah. It's the circle of life, and it moves us all.
We are all connected in the great circle of life.
Walt Disney Pictures presents its all-new 30-second full-length animated motion picture, The Lion King. He was born to rule.
This'll all be mine?
Everything the light touches.
Wow.
But a shadow lies over the kingdom.
I will be king. Run away and never return.
If you ever come back, we'll kill ya!
Hey, kid, what's eating you?
I don't want to talk about it.
He looks blue.
I'd say brownish gold.
No. I mean, he's depressed.
Anything we can do?
Not unless you can change the past.
He grew up hoping to leave his old life behind.
I know who you are. You're Mufasa's boy.
You're the king.
King? Have you got your lions crossed?
You know my father?
Correction. I know your father.
He died a long time ago.
Nope. Wrong again. He's alive. And I'll show him to you.
Father?
You are my son, and the one true king.
You see, he lives in you.
You must take your place in the circle of life.
It's a legendary tale filled with excitement, plus dozens of wonderful new characters.
Why do I always have to save you?
And featuring original music and songs by Grammy winner Elton John and Academy Award winner Tim Rice. This summer, Walt Disney Pictures presents an entertainment event you'll never forget.
Now we're back with the 5th installment of the Disney Renaissance Marathon. And today we're doing The Lion King, which was the next film in Disney's filmography in the Renaissance. This film, I believe, and as many other people I believe as well, that this was the peak of the Renaissance era. Anything after this could not be topped. However, the rest of the films were successful, but they never achieved this success. But let me tell you what I'm talking about. The previous films were the previous two films, like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, were just on average around $27 million budgets, okay? This one was, I believe it says $45 million in a budget. So the budget was scaled way up, but the gross, what you see on the screen, oh boy. Compare that to the previous entries. It made about $100 million more than Aladdin did. So if that tells you something, this movie was hit a home run. This one is the king, and it is the #1 animated film of all time. And you know how Beauty and the Beast was the nomination for Best Picture at the Academy Awards? Well, so was this one. This is the second time they got able to do that, and I think it was after this that they seriously considered, in terms of the Academy Awards, hey, maybe we better come up with another category here. And yeah, The Lion King. And this is another one of my favorite movies of all time. I saw this one again in the theater when it originally played, and I saw it again in 2011 when they did the 3D re-release. And gosh, it's such a well-made movie. This is one of those films where you can honestly say they caught lightning in a bottle using a baseball bat. And at the time, like many other films, it was not looked upon as being a successful film. As a matter of fact, a lot of the animators that worked on this film were the B crew. It wasn't until the story got really rolling that they decided, hey, this is actually a pretty good story. Then we need to bring on the A team. Like I mentioned, like animators like Glenn Keane. This is one that he didn't work on. He worked on the previous entries, but he didn't work on this one. This was like the B team that was working on this. This film was directed by Rob Minkoff and Roger Allers. Rob Minkoff, you would later know to direct family live action films such as Stuart Little and The Haunted Mansion, and I think he's done some other films as well. And Roger Allers, who would later leave Disney and work on films like Open Season and things like that. I think he now directs films for Sony Pictures, like their animation team. But anyway, this is what I think was the pinnacle of the Disney animation. Again, you'll see my editions here. I have the Diamond Edition Blu-ray and the Platinum Edition DVD. I don't know if I'm going to get the Signature Series Collection edition because, as far as I know, there's only one feature that I know that is missing. If you know of any other bonus content that's not featured in any of these versions, post it down in the comments section. Because I know the main reason why I kept this, again, like Aladdin, there is content that is not ported over. And as a matter of fact, there is a brand new documentary that was created just for this, about the making of the film. And this one had some behind the scenes making of featurettes as well. But also, one thing I would like to mention is that this film was not just released once. It was re-released. It was a total of releases. There was three releases of The Lion King. There was the original 1994 release, played and made the gazillions of dollars, around $313 million in North America alone in 1994. And there was a 2002 IMAX release in which Disney re-released the film exclusively to IMAX theaters. Yeah, printed on the 1570 format and shown on 7 to 8 story tall screens. Yeah. And then in 2011, Disney decided to re-release the film in 3D. And that was just the regular 35 millimeter 3D, the Real D 3D process, and that's the version that wound up on the Blu-ray the first time around. Let me see here. Yeah, and then this, now what I was going to say here is the film was released about 3 times. You know, the original, the IMAX, and the Real D 3D version. Well, the Real D 3D version is on the Blu-ray, and this version has the IMAX version on it. And the big deal with the IMAX version, that there was a major musical sequence that was completely cut out of the film, and it has been inserted into this film, into this version of the film. This also has the original theatrical cut on it as well, but it does contain both the 88-minute version and the 90-minute version. So it's just a difference of a few minutes that what they were able to do. And plus, this has a bunch of other featurettes. There's music videos, there's games, like there's a whole thing in here with Timon and Pumbaa taking a tour, and it doesn't end up well for them. And of course, there's behind the scenes and some deleted scenes. Apparently, there was supposed to be a sequence called the Bug Football sequence that was cut out. And another difference, a major difference in changing here, was the music. The music in the previous films, or most of the Renaissance films, are done by Alan Menken and some other lyricists. But Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin used the music of Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. And as well, Tim Rice came in on Aladdin to finish the songs that Howard Ashman did not get to complete after the story was rewritten. However, with this film, they called upon Elton John and Tim Rice to write the songs for the movie. And the score was done by Hans Zimmer. And if you don't know who Hans Zimmer is, look up Christopher Nolan. He's composed pretty much all of Christopher Nolan's movies. At least the Batman, Dark Knight trilogy, Dunkirk, Interstellar. You see where I'm getting with this. But Hans Zimmer worked on the Lion King score, and Elton John and Tim Rice came up with the music. Now here's my CD soundtrack, originally pressed, was purchased brand new in 1994. I got this actually as a birthday gift, and it still plays. It's probably, the case is worn, but the CD is probably one of my least damaged CDs. But yeah, the original CD soundtrack, released on Walt Disney Records. I go a little bit further than that. But yeah, that's the original CD version. Now, there was other soundtracks, believe it or not. There was like a total of, I'm thinking like 2 or 3 soundtracks. And I'm thinking there was probably more like 2. I don't remember. There was another version of the soundtrack released where it was nothing but the African chorus. And matter of fact, the African chorus ended up releasing Hakuna Matata as a single that ended up on pop radio. So yeah, there you go. Now here is the picture disc. You know, I've been collecting some of these. the picture discs. This one actually is the full soundtrack album. Unlike the other two, which just had songs from, that's because the soundtracks were so doggone long. They were probably over an hour in length, while The Lion King only comes in at about 46 minutes in a soundtrack, so they were able to get the full soundtrack onto a vinyl record, as opposed to the other films, which had a lot of music, and they were pretty close to an hour in a soundtrack length. So that's The Lion King for you. You know, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and you know, it's, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I'll get that signature edition, collection edition. There's only one, like I said, there's only one special feature I know that is new, and that is they released a feature of the voice actors recording their dialogue. And you know, come to think, I think this one has probably the most famous of the voice actors as well. Whoopi Goldberg and Cheech Marin as the voice of two of the hyenas. Matthew Broderick is the voice of adult Simba. Jonathan Taylor Thomas is the voice of young Simba. James Earl Jones is Mufasa. Jeremy Irons as Scar. And you have Nathan Lane as the voice of Timon. They're probably more recognized. I don't know about them, but probably now they're probably the most recognizable voice actors of the whole Disney Renaissance. And yeah, The Lion King. So let's see. The next one I'm going to do Monday, and it will be Pocahontas, and you'll see what happened. What I mean by, I think The Lion King was the peak of the Disney Renaissance. So Monday, we're going to take a couple days break. It is Easter weekend, so we are going to take a couple days break, and then we'll come back Monday with Pocahontas. So from me to you, see you later.